The stars looked cold and empty that night. Captain John Harper stood on the bridge of the cruiser Endeavour. He watched the big screen in front of him. Red dots moved across it fast. Each dot was a Krellix ship. The enemy never stopped coming. For many months, the Coalition fleet had fought hard. Ships from more than 20 alien species joined together against the Krellix Dominion. The Krellix were like giant insects with hard shells. They thought as one big mind. Their ships were fast and full of sharp weapons. They took worlds one after another. No one could stop them for long. Now the Coalition was running away. Many ships were broken. Some had no power left. Others had holes in their sides where Krellix fire had hit. The fleet moved slowly toward a safe nebula far from the fighting. Everyone felt tired and afraid. John Harper was a tall man with short brown hair. His blue eyes looked calm, but inside he felt worry. He turned to his second-in-command, Commander Lisa Grant. She stood next to him with arms crossed. Her dark hair was tied back tight. "We lost contact with 3 more colonies today," Lisa said in a low voice. "The Krellix took them all. No survivors." John nodded slowly. He did not speak right away. He looked at the map again. The red dots were spreading like fire across dry grass. The Coalition line was breaking in many places. "Our allies want to talk," Lisa added. "They say we must decide where to make our last stand. Some think we should give up the outer systems and hide deeper in." John shook his head. "No, if we keep running, we lose everything. The Krellix will follow us forever." He walked to the side of the bridge. A small window showed real stars outside. They were beautiful, but right now they felt far away and lonely. Humanity had joined this war late. For hundreds of years, Earth stayed alone. Humans rebuilt their home after old wars. They learned to make things fast, very fast. Other species laughed at humans. They called them young and weak. They said humans had small ships and not enough soldiers. But John knew the truth. Humans were good at one thing: building. When they decided to build something, nothing could stop them. Factories on Earth, on Mars, on the moons, in the asteroid belt, they all worked day and night when needed. Ships grew like plants in fast motion. Weapons came out by the thousands. John turned back to Lisa. "Send a message to Earth," he said quietly. "Use the strong code. Just 3 words. Activate Contingency Omega." Lisa looked surprised. "Omega? That means full war production. Everything stops for military only. Are you sure?" John met her eyes. "I'm sure. The line breaks here. If we don't call for help now, there will be no tomorrow." Lisa nodded and went to her station. Her fingers moved quick on the controls. The message went out in a fast burst of light. It would take days to reach Sol, but when it did, the factories would wake up. On the bridge, the crew watched the screen. A young officer named Daniel Ford spoke up. "Sir, the Krellix are closing on our rear guard. They will hit us in less than 2 hours." John walked to the center chair and sat down. All hands to battle stations. Weapons hot, engines ready for quick turns. We buy time for the others. Alarms sounded soft but clear. Red lights flashed. People moved fast to their posts. The ship felt alive now. Guns turned, shields came up with a low hum. Lisa came back to John's side. "Message sent. Now what?" "Now we fight," John said, "and we wait." The Endeavour turned slowly. It faced the coming swarm. Other human ships joined it, small destroyers and frigates. They formed a thin wall between the Krellix and the running Coalition fleet. The first Krellix attack came like a storm. Green plasma bolts flew through space. Some hit the shields of the Endeavour. The ship shook hard. Lights flickered for a second. "Shields at 70%, a voice called from damage control. "Return fire," John ordered. "Railguns, full spread." The cruiser answered with bright white streaks. The railguns threw metal slugs so fast they looked like lightning. Many hit Krellick's drones. Small explosions bloomed in the dark. But more drones came. Hundreds, thousands. They moved like a cloud of angry bees. John watched the numbers drop on his screen. Coalition ships were pulling away faster now. Good. That was the plan. A big Krellick's cruiser appeared on the edge of the fight. It was long and black, with many legs like a spider. It fired a heavy beam. The beam cut through space and hit a human frigate. The small ship broke in half. Fire bloomed for a moment, then died in the vacuum. John felt anger rise in his chest. "Target that cruiser," he said. "Torpedoes, antimatter warheads, give it everything." 4 torpedoes left the Endeavour. They flew straight and true. The Krellick ship tried to dodge, but it was too slow. The torpedoes hit. A bright flash filled the screen. When the light faded, the enemy cruiser was gone. Only pieces floated in its place. The crew cheered for a short moment, but the swarm kept coming. Lisa looked at John. "We can't hold much longer. Shields are failing. Engines are overheating." John stood up. "We hold until the coalition is clear. Then we run with them." He looked out the window again. Somewhere far away, in the quiet Sol system, lights were turning on in dark factories. Machines were starting to move. People were going to work without sleep. They knew what the message meant. Contingency Omega. It was not a plan for a small fight. It was a plan for when everything was at risk. It meant every factory, every mine, every worker turned to war. Ships would come out by the dozens, then hundreds, then thousands. Humans did not fight with magic or old secrets. They fought with numbers, with steel, with time. John smiled a little, the first smile in days. "They think we are weak," he said to Lisa. "They think we are few. Let them think that a little longer." On the Krellick side, far away, the hive mind felt only calm victory. The prey ran. The weak human ships died one by one. The swarm moved forward without fear. They did not know yet. They did not know that far behind the lines, something huge was waking up. Something made by human hands. Something that would change everything. The Endeavour shook again as another plasma bolt hit. Alarms screamed louder. John sat back in his chair. "Keep firing," he said. "We are not done yet." The long retreat went on. But the real story was only beginning. Far from the battle, on the huge black flagship of the Krellick's Dominion, something like calm filled the air. The ship had no real bridge like human ships. Instead, it had a large open chamber where the Overmind Cluster Prime lived. This was not one creature. It was many connected minds in one body, thousands of small insect-like beings linked together with thin glowing threads. They moved as one. They thought as one. Right now, they felt something close to joy. The prey was running. The coalition fleet broke apart like dry leaves in wind. The human ships, small and slow, stayed behind to fight. The Overmind saw them as nothing. Weak tools, easy food. Scouts sent pictures back through the hive mind. Human cruisers looked old. Their guns fired slow. Their shields cracked fast. The swarm laughed inside its shared thoughts. A strange buzzing sound filled the chamber. It was their way of smiling. One cluster of minds spoke in the silent language of pulses. "The humans die well, but they die." Another answered, "Their worlds are empty farms, no factories, no armies waiting. We take Sol next." The Overmind agreed. It sent orders. More drones moved forward. They would chase the fleeing ships, catch them, eat their crews, then turn to the human home stars. Easy work, no danger. But something small bothered the edges of the hive mind. Far scans showed strange lights, tiny flashes near the Sol system. Drive signatures, many of them. The Overmind looked closer. The flashes came and went. Too far to see clear. Too weak to worry about. Maybe broken ships running home. Maybe refugees. The hive mind pushed the thought away. It focused on the hunt. The swarm pressed on. Thousands of ships flew in tight groups. They looked like dark clouds moving through stars. No fear, no doubt. Victory was close. Back in the Sol system, things were different. Deep inside the big shipyards around Mars, red lights glowed. Machines woke up. Long arms of metal started to move. Sparks flew as welders worked fast. Huge sheets of armor plates slid into place. Engines tested with deep roars that shook the ground. Workers in gray suits ran from one station to another. No one slept much. Everyone knew the message had come. Admiral Karen Brooks stood in the main command room on Earth. The room was under a mountain. Thick walls, strong screens. She was a short woman with gray hair cut short. Her face looked hard, but her eyes were kind when she spoke to her people. Right now, she looked at a big map of the system. Green dots showed new ships. More appeared every hour. Status, she said. A young officer named Robert Klein answered quick. Mars yards at 80% speed. Luna factories making drives. Belt mines sending metal non-stop. We have 30 new destroyers ready in 2 days. Battleships in 5. Karen nodded. Good. Push harder. The fleet needs us. Robert was 28, tall, strong hands from years of building. He liked machines more than people sometimes, but today he felt proud. He turned to his friend Amy Torres. She worked next to him on the battleship Vanguard. Amy had black hair and quick smile. She checked screens all day. They think we are farmers, Robert said low. They think our ships are toys. Amy laughed soft. Let them. We build quiet. Then we show up loud. The Vanguard was big. Bigger than any human ship before. Long body, many gun towers, hangars full of fighters. Inside, workers climbed ladders. They carried tools. They shouted orders. The smell of hot metal and oil filled every hall. Lights burned bright. No dark corners. On Earth, cities changed fast too. Factories that made cars and phones now made guns and shields. People left normal jobs. They went to work on ships. Families said goodbye at train stations. Everyone knew this was big. Maybe the biggest thing humans ever did. In one small factory town, an old man named Daniel Ford watched from his porch. He had fought in old Earth wars long ago. Now his son was out there on the Endeavor. Daniel held a cup of coffee. He looked at the sky. Stars twinkled. Somewhere up there, his boy fought to give them time. Come home safe, son, he whispered. Back on the flagship, the Overmind felt another small worry. The flashes near Sol grew more. Not many, but steady, like heartbeats. The hive mind sent scout ships closer. Small, fast drones. They would look. They would report. The scouts flew for days. Space is big. They sent pictures back slow. First pictures showed nothing strange. Empty space. Quiet planets. Then one scout got closer. It saw lights on the dark side of Mars. Bright lights. Moving lights. Ships leaving dry docks. Not one or two. Many. Lines of them. Like ants leaving a hill. The Overmind looked. It saw the new ships. Bigger than expected. More than expected. But still small compared to the swarm. The hive mind calmed itself. Numbers meant nothing if the ships were weak. Humans had no hive mind. They fought alone, easy to break. The Overmind sent more drones forward. Watch them, it ordered. Do not attack yet. Learn. On the Endeavor, John Harper got a short update from Earth. The message came in code. Short words. Omega active. First wave builds. Hold the line. John stood on his bridge. The ship shook from another hit. Shields dropped low. Smoke filled some halls, but he smiled small. They are coming, he told Lisa. Lisa looked tired. cuts on her face from a small explosion. How many? Enough, John said. More than they think. The coalition fleet kept running. Alien captains sent messages. Humans, retreat with us. You die for nothing. John answered calm. We do not die. We wait. He looked at the screen. Krellick's ships closed in. Green fire lit space. The Endeavor fired back. One enemy drone exploded, then another. But more came. Lisa stood close. If they break through, we lose the time we bought. John put a hand on her shoulder. They won't. Not yet. Far away, the scout drones watched the Sol yards. They saw carriers lift off. They saw battleships turn engines hot. They saw fighters launch in waves. Thousands. Tens of thousands. The numbers grew fast. Too fast. The scouts sent fear pulses back to the hive. The Overmind felt the first cold touch. Not fear yet, but something close. Doubt. It pushed the doubt down. They are few, it told itself. But the flashes did not stop. They grew brighter. Closer. In the Vanguard engine room, Robert wiped sweat from his face. Amy handed him a tool. 1 more hour, she said. Then we fly. We are coming. The whispers in the dark grew louder. The swarm still hunted. But something big woke up behind them. Something human. Something unstoppable. The coalition ships gathered in the thick clouds of a dark nebula. Gas and dust hid them from easy scans. Lights were low. Engines stayed cold to stay quiet. Alien captains met on a big command ship called the Harmony. They spoke in many languages. Translators buzzed. Voices sounded worried and tired. A tall insect captain from the Zethar race clicked his mandibles. We lost half our fleet. The Krellick swarm grows stronger every day. We must hide deeper, maybe in the core systems. A bird-like being from the avian Concord flaps soft wings. But the humans stay behind. Their small ships fight alone. They will die soon. Then the Krellicks come for us next. Another captain, a slow-moving crystal creature, hummed low. The humans asked us to wait here. They say help comes. But their home is weak. No big navy, no hidden armies. We should leave them and run. The room filled with quiet agreement. No one believed in human help anymore. Humans were new to the stars. They built slow. They fought brave, but small. Everyone saw the Endeavor on long scans. It still fired. It still moved, but it looked like the last candle in a storm. John Harper knew what they thought. He did not care. On the bridge of the Endeavor, he stood with hands behind his back. The ship hurt bad now. One engine smoked. Shields flickered like a dying light. Hull plates bent in places. But the crew kept working. They patched holes. They loaded guns. They watched the enemy close in. Lisa Grant checked the sensors again. Krellick's forward elements in range. They send probes, testing us. John nodded. Let them test. We give them nothing easy. Daniel Ford sat at the gunnery station. His fingers stayed ready on the controls. Sweat ran down his face. He had not slept in 2 days. Sir, if we fire now, we draw more of them. We can't take many hits. We fire when we must, John said. Not before. The coalition watched from far away. They saw human ships turn slow circles. They saw small flashes of railgun fire. Every shot killed a drone or two. But the swarm sent more. Always more. It looked hopeless. Then something changed. At first, no one noticed. A single faint blip on coalition sensors. Then 2. Then 10. The blips grew fast. They came from the direction of human space. Drive signatures. Clean, strong, many. An avian sensor officer chirped loud. Contacts. Multiple contacts emerging from hyperspace lanes near Sol. The captains turned to the big holoscreen. At first, they saw nothing clear. Dust in the nebula blocked details, but numbers appeared. Hundreds, then thousands. Drive plumes lit up like a new starfield. Blue-white lines stretched across space. They moved fast, straight, no chaos, perfect lines. The Zethar captain tilted his head. What is that? The crystal being glowed brighter. All of them. But how many? The numbers kept rising. 5,000, 10,000, 20. The screen could not show them all at once. Icons overlapped. The coalition fleet went silent. No one spoke. On the Endeavor, Lisa stared at her console. Her mouth opened a little. John, look at this. John walked over. The screen showed the same thing. A wall of green human icons moving toward them. Not a fleet, an ocean of ships. Battleships with long bodies and many gun decks. Carriers opening bays. Destroyers in tight formations. Support ships full of fuel and parts. Everything moved together, like one big machine. Lisa whispered, That's not possible. We never had this many ships. John smiled small. We do now. The first human wave translated into normal space at the edge of the nebula. No big announcement. No flags or horns. Just silence. Thousands of ships appeared in perfect order. Their hulls shone silver and gray under starlight. Engines glowed steady blue. Weapons stayed cold for now. They waited. The Krelliks noticed too. On the flagship, the Overmind Cluster Prime felt the change like a sudden cold wind in the hive. The shared mind rippled. Thousands of small bodies twitched at once. Confusion spread fast. Scout drones sent pictures back. The pictures showed lines of big ships. Bigger than anything the Krelliks expected from humans. Guns pointed forward. Shields strong and steady. Fighters launched in waves. Small dots swarmed out like angry insects. But these were human insects. Fast, smart, many. The Overmind tried to understand. How it pulsed to itself. Their worlds had no yards like this. No workers in such numbers. But the fact stayed. The new fleet moved forward. Not slow. Not careful. Fast. They accelerated hard. Humans inside felt high G-forces. But they trained for it. They endured. One Krellik's cluster mind spoke. Attack now. Crush them before they join the prey. The swarm turned. Part of it broke off from chasing the coalition. Thousands of drones and cruisers rushed toward the new human ships. Green plasma lit space again. Biomissiles flew in clouds. The human response came quick. The lead battleship, a giant called Liberty, opened fire first. Rows of railguns spoke together. White streaks crossed the dark. Each slug hit like a hammer from gods. Krellik's drones broke apart. Metal and flesh scattered. Explosions bloomed silent in vacuum. Behind the Liberty came carriers. They released fighters. Not dozens, hundreds at once from each ship. The fighters moved in tight groups. Lasers flashed. Missiles tracked and hit. The Krellik swarm hit a wall of light and death. On the Vanguard Bridge, Robert Klein watched from his new post. He stood next to Amy Torres. Both wore fresh uniforms. The ship still smelled of new paint and oil. They never saw this coming. Amy pointed at the screen. Enemy formation breaking already. They try to regroup. The Krelliks tried. Hive minds linked fast. Drones formed new shapes. Big clusters for defense. Long lines for attack. They adapted like always. But humans had watched them for months. Secret probes, captured data, endless computer runs. Every move the Krelliks made, humans knew before it happened. A group of human destroyers moved in low and fast. They fired torpedoes in patterns. The torpedoes split, each split into more. The swarm could not dodge them all. Holes opened in their lines. Big hive cruisers burned. The Overmind felt pain now. Not just loss of ships. Loss of drones meant loss of minds. Each death echoed in the hive. The shared thoughts grew loud with alarm. Pull back, one cluster urged. Learn first, then strike. But pride stopped them. The prey ran. The weak humans should fall. The swarm pushed harder. More human ships arrived. Another wave. Then another. The numbers did not stop. Factory ships stayed back. They sent fresh fighters and repair drones forward. Nothing slowed. John Harper watched from the Endeavor. His damaged ship pulled back a little now. It had done its job, bought the time. Lisa looked at him. They are here. The fleet is here. John nodded, and the Krelliks see it. The swarm hesitated, for the first time. Drones slowed. Formations broke a little. The hive minds searched for answers, but no answers came. Only more human ships, more guns, more fire. The silent surge moved forward. No words, no shouts, just steel and will, and the galaxy watched. The human fleet appeared without warning. One moment space looked empty, except for the scattered coalition ships and the thick Krellik swarm. The next moment, thousands of silver hulls filled the void. They came out of hyperspace in clean lines that stretched across light minutes. No bright flashes, no loud signals, just sudden silence and steel. Every ship moved the same way. Engines glowed steady blue. Guns stayed pointed forward. Fighters poured out from carriers like water from a broken dam. The formation looked perfect. No gaps, no fear. Humans had practiced this many times in secret drills far from other eyes. On the bridge of the Liberty, the lead battleship, Admiral Karen Brooks, watched the main screen. She stood tall, with arms behind her back. Her gray hair caught the soft light from the consoles. Around her, officers worked fast but calm. No shouts, no panic. "Formation complete," a voice said. "All ships report ready." Karen spoke clear and even. "Hold position. Weapons free on my mark. Target priority. Hive cruisers first, then the drones." The Krellik swarm reacted slow at first. The hive mind needed time to understand. Thousands of small minds linked together tried to count the new ships. The numbers did not make sense. Humans should not have this many. Humans should be weak. The Overmind sent pulses of confusion through the swarm. Then it ordered attack. Green plasma bolts flew in thick waves. Io missiles twisted through space like living snakes. The swarm moved as one angry cloud. They aimed for the center of the human line. Break it, scatter it, eat it. The human answer came fast. Railguns on every battleship fired at once. White streaks cut the dark like knives. Each slug moved so fast it hit before the enemy could turn. Krellik's drones exploded in bright flashes. Chunks of shell and flesh spun away. Hive cruisers took hits to their soft underparts. Green blood leaked into vacuum. On the Vanguard, Robert Klein stood at his station. His hands moved quick on the controls. Guns locked, firing continuous. Amy Torres watched her screen next to him. Enemy closing fast, shields up full. The ship shook as plasma hit the outer shields. Lights dimmed for a second, then came back strong. The Vanguard answered with its own guns. Heavy cannons roared. Torpedoes left the tubes in neat rows. Each one found a target. Explosions bloomed silent and bright. Daniel Ford, now on the Liberty as chief gunner, grinned wide. "Target rich today, people. Pick your shots. Make them count." His team worked like a machine. Load, aim, fire. Load again. No waste, no miss. The railgun spoke steady. The swarm thinned in front of them. The coalition ships watched from the nebula edge. Alien captains stared at their screens, mouths open, eyes wide. The Zethar captain clicked soft. "This is not possible." The avian officer, flapped wings slow. "Look at the numbers. They match our old estimates of human industry. But we thought it was joke." The crystal being glowed bright. They hid it. All this time, they built in secret. John Harper on the Endeavor saw it too. His damaged ship stayed back now. It watched. The crew cheered quiet when a big Krellix cruiser broke apart under human fire. Lisa Grant stood next to John. They are breaking already. The swarm tries new shapes, but we cut them down. John nodded. They adapt. We planned for it. The Krellix tried hard. Hive minds linked tighter. Drones formed thick balls for defense. Others made long spears to push through. They learned from each loss. New patterns appeared. Plasma fire grew hotter. Some human shields dropped low. But the humans had answers ready. Carriers sent more fighters. Small ships darted in and out. Lasers cut through weak spots. Missiles found joints in armor. The swarm lost more every second. A group of human destroyers moved low under the main fight. They slipped past the front lines, close to the big hive ships. They fired point blank. Antimatter warheads went off in bright white bursts. 3 hive cruisers vanished in one go. The shockwave pushed droids away like leaves. The Overmind felt real pain now. Each lost mind hurt the whole. Thoughts grew loud and sharp. Fear crept in. Not loud fear, quiet fear. The kind that makes you stop. One cluster pulsed. We must speak. Ask for terms. Another answered. No, we are strong. They are few. But the facts said different. The swarm grew smaller. Humans grew bigger. More ships arrived every minute. Fresh ones from the yards. They joined the line without pause. Karen Brooks sent the message then. Her voice went out on open channel. Clear, cold, no anger, no joy. Just fact. This is Admiral Karen Brooks of the Human Fleet. No terms, no surrender. Leave this space now, or we erase you. You have one chance, use it. The words reached the hive mind. It spread through every ship, every drone, every small mind. The Overmind stopped for a moment. All movement paused. Green plasma fire slowed. Drones hung still. Then panic started. Some drones turned away first. They broke formation. Engines flared hot. They ran toward deep space. Others followed. The hive mind tried to pull them back. Orders flew fast, but fear moved faster. Big hive cruisers turned slow. They pushed engines to max. They left holes in the swarm. Smaller ships scattered like scared birds. Some fired wild shots behind them. Most just ran. Human guns did not stop. They fired on anything that stayed, anything that fought. The ones that ran lived longer, but not forever if they turned back. On the Liberty Bridge, Karen watched the screen. Red enemy icons blinked out, one by one, then in groups. Cease fire on retreating units, she said. Only engage if they turn hostile. The guns went quiet in places, but stayed ready. John Harper exhaled slow on the Endeavor. He looked at Lisa. It is over. Lisa shook her head slow. Not over, but close. The coalition ships came closer now. They left the nebula. They moved toward the human fleet. Alien captains sent messages, voices full of wonder. How did you do this? Where were these ships hidden? Karen answered simple. We built them. We waited. When you needed us, we came. Robert and Amy on the Vanguard looked out a small window. Stars shone bright. Wreckage floated everywhere. Krellix pieces mixed with empty space. Robert spoke soft. They ran, just like that. Amy smiled. They saw what we are, and they could not stay. The human fleet held its place, a long wall of ships, strong, quiet, ready. Behind them, factory ships started work already. They pulled metal from wrecks. They fed it back into the line. Nothing went to waste. The arrival was complete. The galaxy saw it. Humans did not come to talk. They came to end the fight. The Krellix swarm broke apart like ice under heavy boots. One moment they pressed forward in thick, angry clouds. The next moment, fear took hold. Drones turned away first. Their small engines flared bright as they fled. Big hive cruisers followed. Long black bodies twisted slow, then fast, toward open space. No orders came to stop them. The hive mind screamed inside itself. Pull back, fight, hold. But the voices grew weak. Too many minds died. Too many links snapped. Panic spread fast through the shared thoughts. Each lost ship felt like a cut in flesh. Pain echoed loud. The Overmind Cluster Prime tried to calm the swarm. It sent strong pulses. We are many, they are few. Return. But the words sounded hollow now. The humans did not slow. Their guns spoke steady. Railguns cut through retreating ships that moved too slow. Torpedoes chased the ones that turned. Bright flashes marked each death. Silent, clean, final. On the Liberty Bridge, Admiral Karen Brooks watched the red icons fade from the screen, one by one, then in groups. She kept her face calm. No smile, no anger, just quiet focus. Track all vectors, she said. If any regroup, hit them hard. No mercy for those who turn back. An officer nodded. Understood, Admiral. Most are scattering wide. No formation left. Karen looked out the wide window. Stars shone cold. Wreckage floated in slow spins. Metal pieces, shell fragments, green fluid that froze fast in vacuum. The human fleet stayed in place, a long solid wall. Thousands of ships, engines low but ready. Fighters circled like watchful dogs. Farther back, the coalition ships moved closer. They left the nebula dust behind. Alien captains sent messages one after another, voices mixed with awe and shock. You destroyed them, the Zethar captain clicked. Not just beat them, made them run. The avian officer spoke soft. In hours, not years. How? Karen answered on open channel. Simple words. We built, we waited. When the time came, we acted. John Harper stood on the Endeavour Bridge. His ship looked hurt, hull scarred, one wing bent, but it still flew. The crew cleaned up. They fixed what they could. Lisa Grant came to his side. Her face had new lines from the fight, but her eyes looked bright. They are gone, she said, scattered to the edges. Sensors show no clusters bigger than 100 ships. John looked at the map. Red dots moved away in every direction. Some toward black voids between stars, some toward unknown sectors. None came back, none tried to fight. The once mighty swarm looked small now, broken, afraid. He spoke low. They will not return soon, maybe never as one. Lisa nodded. The hive mind cracked. They felt fear for the first time. John turned to the window. He thought of Earth. Quiet cities, busy yards, people who worked without rest, children who waved goodbye to parents. All for this moment. Not for glory, not for power. Just to hold the line. To keep the dark away. On the Vanguard, Robert Klein and Amy Torres stood together in a quiet hall. The ship hummed soft now. Guns cold. Engines at rest. Robert wiped his hands on a rag. Oil still on his fingers. They ran, he said, like scared animals. Amy leaned against the wall. We did not chase far. Why? Because we do not need to, Robert answered. They know now. If they come back, we wait again, and we build more. Amy smiled small. Human way. Build quiet, strike hard. Back on Earth, under the Mountain Command Center, people watched the same screens. Cheers rose soft at first, then louder. Workers hugged. Officers shook hands. Admiral Karen Brooks appeared on big displays. Her voice came clear. The enemy has left this space. They will not return in force. Our people held. Our allies stand safe. Go home to your families. Rest. But stay ready. The room filled with sound. Not wild joy. Tired, happy sound. People who knew the cost, but also the win. In the Sol system, factory lights dimmed a little. Not off. Never off. But slower now. Ships still came out of dry docks. Smaller ones. Repair ships. Explorers. The machine did not stop. It just changed speed. The coalition fleet gathered near the human line. Alien ships looked small next to the human wall. Captains asked to meet. John Harper went on a shuttle to the Harmony. He walked into the big chamber. Aliens stood or sat in their ways. Tall, small, scaled, feathered. All looked at him. The Zethar captain stepped forward. "You saved us. We thought you weak. We were wrong." John shook his head. "We are not strong in the way you think. We do not have old empires. We do not live thousands of years. But we work. We learn. We do not give up." The avian flapped wings slow. "As equals?" John looked around the room. "We always were equals. You just did not see it." Quiet laughter came from some. Others nodded. The crystal being glowed warm. The stars changed today. John returned to the Endeavor. He sat in his chair. Lisa stood close. "What now?" she asked. John looked at the stars. "We watch. We build. We live." The human fleet stayed, a quiet guard across the black. Factory ships pulled wrecks close. Metal fed back into new hulls. Nothing lost, everything used. Far away, the last Krelix ships vanished into deep dark. Their hive mind broke into small pieces. Each piece ran alone. No more one voice, no more sure victory. Just fear that lingered. Stories spread fast among the stars. Aliens told them in low voices, in bars on distant stations, in quiet ships. The story grew. The human fleet appeared, and the enemy vanished. Not dead to the last, not hunted down, just gone, like smoke in wind. Because humans did not fight for hate. They fought for tomorrow, for their children, for a line that must hold. And when they arrived, nothing could stand. John Harper looked out one last time. The stars looked the same, but the feeling changed. The galaxy knew now. Humans were here, and they would stay.